Hi, I'm Amanda Davis, and I'm here at ThinkUp Studios. And today we're going to be talking about the 9 critical thinking traits and how they are infused in mathematics. So today we're here with Erica. She's actually one of our writers. She's a former educator, and she writes specifically for our math and science products. So today, though, we're focused on math, and I just want to see, our question today is critical thinking and how it is infused in mathematics. So I want to know personally from you, what does critical thinking mean to you?
Critical thinking is taking what you know in a situation and applying it and kind of looking at it and analyzing a situation, because what you're trying to do is get the best possible outcome. Mm-hmm. And so by applying all those other things that you've learned throughout life, then you're really kind of looking at things a little bit differently.
Perfect. So how do you see, especially with math, how do you see critical thinking fitting into mathematics?
So many times, especially for people that were older, it was 4 plus 4 equals 8. 100 divided by 25 equals 4. There was no concept behind what that is, but these days children are really asked to look at things. They're asked to analyze them and kind of figure out what strategies they would use to be able to solve those. So there really is a lot more involved than just remembering rote kind of information. And so that's what we're really trying to engage students and get them to look at things and analyze them to be more successful and to understand why certain things are the way they are.
Okay, so I was a math teacher as well, and I know sometimes we get a bad rap. So I just want to know, a lot of people think, you come in, you do problems, kind of what you said. Mm-hmm. 2 plus 2 equals 4, you just kind of go through all this stuff or analyze. Do you see the 9 critical thinking traits fitting into math? Do all 9 fit?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Especially the one create. That's a little bit different when you're thinking math, create. I'm not teaching art. But really in this time, they're required to write word problems. They work through and do raps and songs and poems that are going to help them understand what they're doing, or help the teachers. They're showing everyone that they understand the concept by being able to do that. There is so much involved. And if they're doing it in a group situation, they're collaborating with each other. They're really having to examine what they know. They might have to adapt it. Let's say we have to do a world problem, but also do a visual model along with that. So they're taking the same information and adapting it. So, in that just one activity, which sometimes those are all together, that one activity, those are 3 or 4 critical thinking traits right there. But the way that I look at something might be different than the way you look at something. So you may be even employing a different critical thinking trait than I would, based on our level of knowledge and our journey with critical thinking.
Yes, I loved having my students collaborate when I was a teacher, because you would see the different thoughts that they would have. And I was so glad to have them work in a group, because somebody brings something else to the table. Nobody thinks the same way, or even the way they find their solution is not always the same way. So
absolutely. That comes back to the different strategies.
Yeah.
And not everyone is going to work for the same situation, but then again, not everyone works for the same person too, if there's multiple ways to solve that. And being able to go through and try to figure out which one works and which one doesn't, because we learn so much from failure.
Yes.
I say failure, trial and error.
Yeah.
And they learn what works in certain situations and what doesn't. But there again, that's applying their critical thinking skills to be able to realize that, and then on down the line, use that again.
To succeed or find the solution.
Right,
so
exactly.
That's awesome. So before we wrap up the time, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, and I think based on exactly what we just said, is these critical thinking traits are so important. Yes, we're asking them to use them in math, in specific to what I'm doing. However, if they are able to use these on a regular basis and then become ingrained, any given situation that they're in, they can do this, and they're going to be more successful in life because they're applying them more rotely with automaticity later on in life. And so I think that that's really, really important. And so the sooner we can start that, the better off they'll be.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's a skill that needs to be fostered and given examples, and it goes beyond the math class. So
absolutely.
Well, thank you,
Absolutely.
Erica, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us and just seeing how important these 9 critical thinking traits are, and how when used effectively in the classroom, it goes beyond there. So thank you.